What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode with your boy Phrankleen. I hope you had a nice week. It's Friday. If you're watching this as a playback, thank you for stopping by. This is your first time. I hope you enjoy the content. Don't forget to look through my playlist and look around for tons and tons and tons of interesting, topics. And feel free to join the conversation below. If you're watching me, if you can see me, hit the like button, okay? Um, what's going on, man? What's going on, man? If you can hear me, let's crack on. Kemi, yeah, finally. Greetings, Gail. Greetings. Bayami Bolu Joko, Gail, Kemi. Everyone that can see me, that can hear me in Bali. What's up? So today I am going to talk about this, but I'm also going to share a link. It's Friday. I'm going to put a link on the screen in a moment. Because I don't want this to be like a one-way thing, just me talking about this. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. I'm going to put a link on the screen in a moment so you can dial in and be part of the conversation. Now, let me put a disclaimer. I want people to contribute constructively, okay? I'm not exactly trying to use this as, mudslinging and stuff. These are prevalent, matters within our community and stuff like that. So it's very, very important that, when you join the conversation, talk passionately. Feel free to express yourself, and hopefully we can all learn from it. So anyways, this story, it's about a high court judge. This is something that you'd agree with me that it's utterly, embarrassing. And apart from the fact that the incident itself, is life shattering and devastating, but for a high court judge at that level, and career wise and stuff, and it would be embarrassing. Even it would bring sort of embarrassment to the relevant judiciary that the judge works for and stuff. So it's important. And I want to put not a disclaimer, but I want to put out a note of caution. Okay, I am thoroughly aware there are some unscrupulous females that sort of work in the back end, that try to, simply because they may not agree with maybe my point of view or some of my content, but they would appear to be preoccupied with vindictiveness and negativity. And that's not what I'm about. I don't entertain negative energy on my platform. So as soon as you're saying stuff, even when they know that my Say It Like It Is sessions is pretty much about people sending me their stories. If they resonate with me, it's only advice. It's me expressing my views. I've never projected myself as an epitome of knowledge. But of course, some unscrupulous persons would try to hijack and sort of going around in the background and say Phrankleen is into women bashing. I'll be very honest with you. One, I am never into women bashing. Two, I can care about your feelings, but it's also very important that I use. If you hear stories like this, like for example, this has happened to a high court judge. This was sent to me. I read it and I thought I'm going to talk about it on my show. But if you then choose to be angry because I am addressing it, something that's already in the public domain, that thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people have already, read and seen via mainstream media and stuff. But you then come to my platform and then you're trying to say I'm women bashing. Then I think these actually exposes who you really are. Because I try my best so we use this platform to be objective. You don't have to agree with me all of the time. It's okay to disagree with me, but we can be civil and be grown up about it rather than you be in the background and trying to be toxic. This is why when people come to my platform, I don't like blocking people. I'll be very honest. But the moment you start name calling, either insulting me or insulting other persons in the timeline, and I spot you, I just block you. Because from that point, I've realized that you've become person without, integrity. I hope we can understand. All right. It's okay. Disagree with me. Send me emails. It's okay. All right. But let's not hijack this platform for toxicity. Phrankleen is not here to clout chase. We're not here to women bash, but we've got to say the truth. I will always speak my truth regardless of how you feel. It might be about my brothers tomorrow. I will always speak my truth. And in the extreme of cases, if you feel uncomfortable, you don't like it, YouTube has multi-millions of videos that we cannot even watch in the rest of our lifetimes. Feel free to go and watch something else, okay? But having said that, I've got nothing but love and respect for you. All right, so let's crack on. So this one, I'm going to share my screen very quickly so that you can read with me. All right, just give me a quick moment. Share screen. Where is it? Right, share screen, share audio. Right, Chrome tab. So, High Court judge. Right, there you go. So, these story right here said Anthony basically Okoroda is a sworn in as a judge of Delta State High Court. By the way, is a High Court judge in Nigeria. So has expressed how devastating it was after a DNA test conducted on his 3 adult children revealed they're not his. Okay. In a statement released by the High Court judge, he accused his former wife of cheating during their marriage, which ended 11 years ago. Okorodas, who said he was first notified of the paternity fraud by an anonymous source, said the repulsive act of his ex-wife prompted him to conduct DNA tests on all of his children. Now, this is a press statement by the judge, Honorable Justice Anthony Ezonfade, I hope I've pronounced that properly, Okorodas. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the press, I thank you for attending this press conference. It was in fact a press conference. I've taken the decision to address the press. Where is it, man? Oh, all right, okay. In respect of certain traumatic developments that have risen between me and my ex-wife, barrister Celia Julia Ototo of the Ototo family. Actually, she was a barrister too. Oh, wow. It's now nearly 11 years since our separation and divorce. The press statement is important in order to prevent damaging speculation, half-truth, and outright lies from persons who may want to cash in on the tragedy that has befallen my home. So he said sometime during the pandemic lockdown early last year, I received information from an anonymous source that indicated that the last of the 3 children from my previous marriage was in fact not my biological child. Due to the pandemic restrictions at the time, I had to wait until August 2020 to carry out a DNA test. The DNA test results, which came out in September 2020, confirmed I was not the biological child of the child. Consequently, I convened a joint meeting between my extended family on one side and the paternal and maternal family of the ex-wife on the other side, where I confronted her with paternity fraud allegation. Although she initially strongly insisted that I was the biological father, she has since confessed to having a child with another man during the course of the marriage. Now, these repulsive acts of my ex-wife prompted me to conduct DNA tests in respect of the 2 other children. A few days ago, the results came out. Sadly, none of them is my biological child. These abominations has caused excruciating mental trauma. Of course, my present wife and all of the innocent children involved. This is particularly so for AB, who has had to agree to have DNA tests on the 4 children of our own marriage. Thankfully, the test results confirm each of them to be my biological child. Those are the children of his current wife. It is important to state that Celia walked away from the marriage when her youngest child, who is now 17, was 6 years old at the time. Since then, all of her children have lived with his current wife, and have been wholly responsible for their well-being and education. Friends who are close to my family would readily attest to the fact that unless specifically informed, no one could tell that the children were not the biological children of the present wife. AB and I would continue to support the children in any way that we can. Indeed, even after the release of the first DNA test result, which proved that I was not the biological father of the last child, we have continued to pay for his education in a private boarding school. Wow! I salute you, sir. That's commendable. The 2 other children are university undergraduates, so they're grown-ups. The first, a female, will be a graduate later this year, and the second will soon enter his 4th year of study. We pray for them to overcome the trauma and become responsible citizens of our country. For Celia and her boyfriend or boyfriends, we leave them to their conscience. Thank you very much. The Honorable Justice Anthony Ezonfade Okoroda's PhD, Judge of the High Court of Delta State, January 28th, 2021. Bang! And there we go. That's the story. Man, so if you wanna join the conversation, look, that's the link from the StreamYard link. Feel free to click on it. Feel free to come in the background. I want people to be part of the conversation. So you get the gist, right? So the long and short for people that have joined us, along the line, the long and short is, you can see this is even like a top caliber, type thing. What really attracted me, apart from the details of the story, this is a high court justice. So no one is exempt. It could happen to anyone. That's the first thing, and you can imagine 3 children. 3 children. It's absolutely life shattering. And the reason why I want people to join, please click on the link and come and talk to me. See, there's always, between men and women, there's a plethora of back and forth, and people, all the sex battles among men and women. But I honestly would like to hear, and I would love if females can, women can, please click on the link. Let's talk as grown-ups, okay? Let's be honest, no bias. Why is it that women commit paternity fraud? Because it's one thing to commit these paternity frauds, man. It's the lifetime devastating effects on the children, on the man or the men involved. That's why I find it really staggering that some women, they can see all of this. Now, look at this. This is a high court justice. This is a high court judge. This ain't got nothing to do with Phrankleen, right? I'm just a dude with a platform. I'm talking about this. Some women would have the audacity to get angry and still try to hijack this for mudslinging and turn this to gender war. Men to do this, blah, blah, blah. Because I think it's the height of evilness, because you knowingly force the children that belong to another man on an unsuspecting man, and even along the line, you would then, on top of that, more than likely put that man through hell, make them pay, be emotionally committed, spend money. Look at what the man said. You can imagine spending years raising those children as yours and still being honorable. He's not obligated to carry on, still being honorable to say he's going to carry on loving them, those children, and funding them. It takes a whole lot of courage. Click on the link. Let's talk. I think there's somebody in the background. Black Magic. What's going on, brother? I can't hear you. Your mic. Click on the link, guys. Come and talk to me. Let's talk about this, man. Black Magic. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Fuck, what is happening?
Unmute yourself. Right, can you hear me now? The brother is frozen, man. You're frozen. I think it's your connection. It's your connection. Click on the link, man. You see what you see? Do you see the keyword? The keyword is thank you. The Houston, Texas, Phrankleen, the truth elocutionist. I very much respect you. Ruth Richardson, thank you for the super chat, man. Thank you, Ruth. I am genuinely concerned about the devastating emotional and the traumatic or the traumatizing effect of these on the lives of thousands, if not millions of people. I don't care what anyone says. Women, those unscrupulous women, they are the pioneers of this evilness. When you hear paternity fraud, why? Let's talk to Mbali. Mbali.
Good evening. Hello. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you? How are you? Happy
Not
Friday.
bad. Happy Friday. So what do you think?
Good,
What do
good.
you think?
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All three children are not his.
Yeah,
It is horrible, absolutely horrible. And this woman, in fact, is evil. And it's so frustrating because she makes the rest of us now look bad. Because I can imagine a lot of men, if they hear this sort of thing, now they'll go secretly do DNA tests
yeah, yeah.
because it makes you wonder, oh, is that my child? Is that my child? But no, it's a shame, and it's a shame as well because after all these years, he's bonded with them, and kudos to him, the fact that he's still going to remain in their lives.
Right.
Yes, and yeah, that woman, may karma will visit her. Karma will visit her one day.
So let me ask you, as
Yeah,
a woman, right? What do you
yes.
think? Is it purely just promiscuity or sometimes, or do you think it's the chase after maybe material gain from the other man? What do you think is the driving force behind this type of behavior?
I think it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both because, I mean, the fact that well, the man is a judge. This man is a judge, so
Yeah,
he knows that of course he's making a lot of money, so he's able to provide for the children, probably provide for her as well. So that's why a lot of the time, women, even though, I mean, I think you said in a previous video that, or I think somebody commented to say like every woman knows who the father of her child is. She knew
yeah,
deep down that the children were not his.
yeah.
She knew that. So it's definitely, yeah, definitely. I would say a bit of both, a bit of both.
Hmm.
Yeah, but this woman is absolutely horrible. It's horrible because sometimes, unfortunately, you also hear of stories where as a couple, you get married and then immediately you get married, and then there's that pressure of children. Sometimes,
Yes.
now I know in my culture back in the day,
Right.
if I'm a Zulu woman originally, so yeah, so in the day back then, if you were married to somebody and it has you've been trying maybe for a year or even 6 months, you've been
Hmm.
trying, and then you can't get pregnant, then the brother will then step in.
Hmm.
Yeah, so basically then you end up being intimate with the brother, and then you then eventually get pregnant.
Right.
Yeah, so then the man will think it's his children when really it's not, it's his brother's children.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. I missed that. So if oh, hold on, if a woman was married to a
Yes,
man and then
yes,
she wasn't conceiving, and
yes,
then what, the man's brother would then step in.
yes.
Is that what, with the man's knowledge or consent?
No, 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 without the man's knowledge or consent. So usually, sometimes the father, yeah, sometimes the father will then talk to the, to, well, one of the brothers and say, look, they've been married for 6 months or married for a year, she's not getting pregnant, you know, yeah, he will then have to step in. That's
Oh,
yeah, that's what used to happen back then. So
in the
now,
Zulu culture, right?
yes, Zulu culture.
Wow. You see,
Yeah.
so do you agree though? I mean, no
No.
disrespect. You agree that that's, I mean, do you agree that that's absolutely toxic?
Yes, that is pure toxic behavior. I mean, I don't agree with it. And, it's that pressure because with the whole, yes, you get married and then they expect you to get pregnant straight away. No, it doesn't work like that because even mentally as a woman, when you start putting pressure into your body, then you take time getting pregnant. 'Cause I know someone who was trying for 7 years and then she accepted that she couldn't get pregnant. So she and her husband, they went traveling, and then a month later she was feeling unwell, went to the doctor, and eventually became pregnant. And I said, that's because you stop putting that pressure by your body. Stop listening to everybody telling you that you should be pregnant after getting married for sure. You just got married. Just enjoy your husband instead of just worrying about
So, I
children
mean,
then.
so in that case, with that type of, that behavior within the Zulu culture, that's basically knowingly, encouraging paternity fraud. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, it used to happen back in the day. Yeah,
Man.
yeah, it does happen. So it's almost as if, yeah, if you and your wife, if you guys had been trying, and then if one of your brothers will then step in, yeah, without your knowledge, unfortunately, it is paternity fraud.
So it's
Abs-
absolutely possible to have numerous children that don't even belong to this man or that man within the wider society. That's insane.
yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's wrong. It's wrong. I mean, I've never agreed with it. I've never agreed with this. And I remember when I got married to my husband. I'm married to an Igbo man.
All right.
Yeah. So I remember people saying, "Oh, now 9 months later we're expecting a baby," and I said, "No, that's not going to happen. It'll happen in our own time." Because we waited a year after being married to then try for our son.
Right, right.
Yeah.
You didn't want that sort of pressure.
No, no, definitely not. And the funny is, it was actually it comes from more from Nigerians. I think the South African side, I really, I put my foot down and I said, no, this is what's going to happen. Me and my husband are going to enjoy each other. We traveled, did so many things before then settling down and trying for our son that we have now.
Right, right. I mean, one thing
Yeah,
that I know, well, I mean, speaking of toxic culture, that I know was prevalent back in the donkey years. It's still happening. I'm sure it's still happening in some local pockets of the nation,
yeah,
whereby, say, for example, you're still a young wife and stuff, and then
yes,
your husband passes on due to unforeseen circumstances or whatever. So within the family tree, they would then say, "Oh, your husband is dead, so you must." This is not even about your opinion. You must then, you know, basically you're like a commodity. You then get procured
wow,
by your husband's sibling. So there might be his immediate younger brother, or if he has an older brother, then he then steps
yeah,
in and acquire you as a wife. Man,
yeah. I've
and I
seen that.
remember growing up, I was aware of that, not within my own family, but I know that happened a lot. But this, I mean, times are changing, at snail's
Yes.
pace, but you still got those things happening in certain places in the background.
Yes, yes, they happen a lot. And I think this is the sort of thing that, your channel is here to educate. It's these sort of things that people, they need to hear them out loud. They need to learn about them and then start to change for the
Yeah,
better. Because yes, it is toxic behavior. And, a lot of people unfortunately think that it's normal behavior because that's how they grew up. They grew up learning that kind of behavior, but it's not.
hmm.
It's not. Even when you say it out loud, it doesn't sound right.
What I have a problem with, right, is
Mm,
particularly the trauma. Like, fam, you can imagine leaving
yes.
what do you call, man, the best part of your life, and then you get a
Yes.
shocker, and another thing that really, that also worries me is, it's one thing that you find out. I mean, that's just gut wrenching. It shatters you
Yes.
completely. You know
It
that
is.
child
Yeah.
one or child two or child, in this case, three children that you've
Three.
raised, emotionally connected, monetarily invested in, they're not yours. And
Yes.
there are also people. I remember having a chat with a gentleman the other day that said there are people that would go to the grave guaranteed and they would never find out.
Yes.
They
And
would never.
unfortunately, yes, there are people that do go to the grave. And
I
you
remember
find that is
a guy emailed
mm,
me. This was sometime last year. I remember,
yeah.
and he said it was actually 6 years after the death of his so-called father, the person that he knew as a biological father. It was 6 years after the death that
Wow.
he found out, himself and his sister found out mysteriously by, I think, through like some of the old aunties within the family tree, that the man that they knew as father was not even their father, that it was their father's younger brother that their mom had been
Wow.
having an affair with for years. And
Wow.
then he was also elderly at the time. They confronted him, and he just fell apart like a sandcastle and said, "Ah, yeah, And this guy was dealing with the trauma, the shock at the time. He sent
Yes.
me an email.
Yes.
So he cut his mother off for those reasons, because it
Wow.
was
It's a shame because
devastating for
that
him to
that is
take.
time. Yeah, that is time that he'll never get back. And unfortunately, like this judge as well, he'll always make more money, but it's that time that it feels like it's been a waste. That time that he'll never get back, unfortunately.
Oh, do you agree with, before you go, so I can bring someone else on?
Yeah.
Um, one quick question for you. Do you
Yeah.
think people should do paternity tests every time they have a child? What do you think that would do to relationships?
I think it depends on the person. I think it depends on, the type of person you are. But if anything, I mean, if my husband was to say to me right now, oh, he wanted to go and do a DNA test, I would just say to him, okay, go ahead.
Would
Because
you
to
take
me,
offense?
I don't know actually, and I think obviously watching your channel, a part of me would take offense. I think, okay, why would he want to, get a DNA test? Because if
Yeah.
anything, my son I mean, my son looks more like me, but starting to look more like him. So it
Hmm.
makes me, a part of me would be offended, but at the same time, I say, you know what? If for your own
Well,
peace of mind and
I
sanity,
agree. I
go ahead.
agree. And I agree. But let me tell you something. One of the things that really seals paternity test, that blindfolds a lot of us men, is
Mm,
especially if the children take after the features of their mom, right? For
yeah.
example, if you look like your son or your daughter looks out like
Mm,
it's just normal, it's natural. So
yeah.
that in itself, once the child looks a lot like the mom, that in itself makes it, will pretty much prevent a lot of men to even think in that direction, except there are occurrences that suggest that maybe the woman had been indulging in infidelity of some kind. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I
even if
do.
and if you don't have any reason to even think in that direction, so it makes it really smooth. But there is a conflicting part of it, where if a man says, listen, for my peace of mind, so most women, even the ones that are guilty, will take offense and say, how
Yes.
dare you? Look at what the
Yes.
guy, the judge said in the press statement. She initially denied, and believe me,
Yes.
those are words. You can imagine her throwing tantrums and taking this
Yep.
personally and getting animated, but
Yep.
eventually, she crumbled. This is what I'm saying. So
Yep.
there are some men that I have, through people send me emails, are terrified, and some of them are then deciding to go do it discreetly.
Yes.
Because if they confront the woman, not confront, but if they face the woman and say, "Oh, let's go do this just for my peace of mind," the woman will flare up and say, "How dare you? What are you insinuating?" And then, and some men are terrified that, okay, if they ask to go do DNA tests, and then it comes out that the children are their children, the woman is going to hold on to that, and that becomes a
Yes.
cloud over their head, and that might shatter the relationship. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Again, so you can't, either way, you can't win. You damned if you do, and you damned if you don't.
So
Unfortunately.
go, so go and do it then, if you have to do it for
Yeah.
your own peace of mind.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that if my husband ever wanted to, I mean, yes, I would take, offense, but then I say, look, for your own sanity and peace of mind, just go ahead and do it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bali.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Right. Dorms,
Oh, hello.
how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm great. So what do you think?
So it's quite interesting. I think there must be something happening with the DNA testing in the African countries because we have our own like Cameroonian platforms, and there's been a lot of stories coming in from people having done DNA tests and finding out that the kids are not theirs. Um, I think that what is happening now, I believe, is showing us the dishonesty of some people. I think before it was quite easy to, especially
Right.
in our parents' generation, to say, oh, look at that amazing family, or everybody's fine, or this is how things get done. And it's just when there's a burial somewhere that you find out that you had 6 brothers and 5 sisters, and everybody was telling you they were cousins, but actually they're not. But I think now with the scientific research, you're seeing that a lot of people now it's harder to get away with dishonesty. And I think now people are confronted with the choices they've made because some people, I don't know the reason why she did it, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's because she didn't like the man and
Yeah, but,
if
let me stop you right there. If you see, like, I mean, I know you. I mean, we exist outside the confines of that, relationship, that complexity. But what I'm saying is, there can never be a justifiable reason. So it's
Mhm.
either, you went off tangent, you had an affair, of course, but to 3 children, I'm not saying even saying one is enough, but it's basically you've gone off, you have an affair with someone, and then you brought those 3 children and imposed them on an unsuspecting man.
Yes.
It's life shattering. It's evil and totally destructive. That's why I could go off and just be talking, all by myself to the camera. That's why I'm trying to hear from yourself and everyone else, because I know everyone is going to have different
Different
interpretation
opinions.
of things.
Yes, yes, I agree. So I'm not condoning what she did.
Right.
What I'm saying is that the the world we live in now is exposing behaviors which were present before, but we were just not aware. I think
Yeah.
that's the reason why I'm approaching it at that angle.
Right.
The lady that just came beforehand, I can't remember her name now, but when she's talking about her culture, there are some
Bali.
cultures where
Yeah.
yes, there's some culture where unfortunately they will tell the woman to, and again, I'm not justifying the lady, I'm just bringing my perspective on what I've seen. They would tell the woman, okay, you need to save face or save your husband's face or save the family name and go out and have those children, right? I read the article and then the man said he also did the paternity test for his second wife and all the kids are his. So clearly he's fertile. So what I'm saying is that those things I don't think are new in our society, unfortunately. I think they've always been there, but they've been covered up before because there wasn't the technology that there was now. There wasn't the beforehand, you could get away with more dishonesty than you can now. And I think it also shows you that the person that is going to be dishonest may not look dishonest, because clearly the man was shocked. The kids, I'm sure they're shocked. I don't know if they've broken down the news to the kids already, because that would be quite
Yeah, they
shocking.
know. The kids know. I mean, they're grown
Yeah.
ups. They
And I
know.
think that's why it's important to promote honesty rather than believe that you'll get away with something towards the end. Because this is what, I'll just say this before I go. I think
Right.
this is what is causing a lot of anger among, I'm going to stick to the story. Okay, I don't want to be gender biased here, but I think this is what is triggering a lot of anger in the men at the moment, is that a lot of because beforehand, the dishonesty of men was out. Everybody could see it. It was accepted in society. Does that make sense? The dishonesty of women were not put out. Okay, so there was kind of an imbalance there. But unfortunately, what's happened is social media has now, and the DNA test and everything, is now putting forward the dishonesty of some women where before those were not there. And I think the collateral damage with this behavior will always be the good-hearted people, that you will end up having to pay for the mistake that another woman has made. Well, luckily for this gentleman, he was already married, right? But I'm sensing that if this gentleman was divorced and he was now with Wicked and he wanted to go back on the dating scene, I mean, I pity the women that were going to meet him, because you now have a whole generation of men who have been hurt by women in one way or the other, blaming the next woman that comes along. And rather than healing and going through therapy and everything, because at the end of the day, you're not responsible for someone else's behavior. So if I married somebody and I didn't know and the person went and did something, it's not a problem with the whole gender, it's a problem with that person. But I think because now a lot of that is being portrayed on social media, it's going viral and everything, women are now being demonized and people are no longer seeing the individuality in people. And I think it's causing a lot of problems. So to summarize, I'm saying that it's important to, I'm just saying what she did to me is not new. I mean, I know there've always been people like that around. There'll always be people like that around, unfortunately. But I think it's important for oneself to remember the individual person and make sure you don't blame a whole set of person because of that. And I think people.
No.
No,
I've
I'm not
always
saying that's
said
what
it,
you're
like,
doing.
for me, I've always said it about, I don't believe in throwing everybody under the bus, right? But if a particular type of behavior is prevalent, it's important for us to, to talk about it, if that makes sense.
I completely agree with you. And the reason I just brought that point across is because I'm seeing that happening a lot. People, because to some people, this is new. Does that make sense? To some people, hearing about a woman lying about DNA testing and everything, it's like, I can't believe this. So it's almost like they were in a bubble and the bubble has been burst. And now they're like, well, what else did I believe in that isn't real? Does that make sense? So a woman like that, I don't know why she would do what she did. I think,
in my opinion, I mean, I've got, people in the background. I appreciate your contribution. I'll say this so I can bring someone else on. In my own opinion, I think, you know what, man, so that people, because I'm looking at this, when you unpack this, man, it's not a joke it's the same way where we can talk about this type of topic where, say, a man, I digress, a man comes abroad, he meets you, I meet you now, Dom, I'm talking hypothetically, and then there's a kind of a chemistry, we click, right? And then even if you met me, I haven't got papers and stuff, you get it, you like me, and then let's say you are already like a British citizen, and then you let me into your life, and then believing that I'm in fact single. Then you go on the journey with me to help me to find my footings. I'm sure you know where the story is going. And then, boom, I find my footings, you give me papers, and then you realize that I've actually got a hidden wife and 2 children across the shores in the motherland. That's why also, right, in the interest of women who are victims of those type of situations, they turn to 2-headed dragons and they carry out retaliatory action. And I've said it on my platform. I said, understandably so, absolutely justifiable, because you then realize that sometimes there are a plethora of stories in our communities whereby before you even realize, you already have 2 kids. by this guy. You know, you're neck deep into all of that palaver, and then you're basically now in the middle of nowhere, like, God damn. And then, you know, you're trying to pay them back and you become vindictive, and people might not
Yes.
even understand where you're coming from. So it's
Yes.
the same way where you look at it and you say, wow, this is life shattering. You know, I
It's
think
really
it's
sad.
mainly evil. It's just evil, man. But thank
It
you.
is.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having me. Bye.
Thank you. Right. Let me bring on the next person. House of Coffee. Hold on. Let me add that again. House of Coffee.
Hi, Franklin. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What's up?
I'm good, thank you. So first of all, before I start making my point, I need to put a disclaimer that I do not in any way support this, but I also want us to look at different perspectives to this and why people do what they do. I do not condone this evil because I think it is evil and it is wicked to do that. But we can also close our eyes to why people do it. Why do people do it? And they think they can get away with it. So we've been saying this ever since that you come online and you talk to us, that societal pressure, family pressure, religiosity is real. Okay. So when you have a 25-year-old as a parent and you are saying to them, oh girl, you finish your university now, the next thing is husband, husband, husband. They do end up marrying people that they do not love. Many marriages nowadays are based on just contract and what I can get out of it. It's not because I love you. It's not because I have a connection with you.
Parental and family pressure and all that stuff.
Yes. So I'm 30 years old. I'm in the house. I've got a good job. The next thing is marriage. What if I don't want to get married? What if I don't want to have children? What if I'm not caught out for those things? Then you force me into marrying this man. And then actually I'm in love with somebody else. I don't actually love this person. I'm in love with somebody else. And then the next thing is, oh, I start going out with that person at the backyard. Pam, 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 pam. Boom, pregnancy. And I think, no, my mommy and my daddy must not know. And then I bring the child indoors. So it all goes back to societal pressure. Do not force people to do what they don't want to do. It doesn't make it okay. Let's not get that, it doesn't make it okay.
But let me also say something. I like your point. Okay, you're making a because that's why it's important for people to come in and contribute. It's a very good point that we cannot afford to, you know, sideline or sidestep. I see where you're coming from. It makes a lot of sense about societal pressure, but we also shouldn't make that as be careful that we don't use that as a justifiable reason for paternity.
Absolutely.
But I know what you're saying, though. Like,
yeah.
And I'll be honest, in line with what you just said, I remember a couple of years ago, I heard the story of a lady whereby she was actually busted. I saw this on on Sky, one of these Nigerian channels. I remember, and she was a young lady, was 26 at the time, and she had a baby by, you know, someone else and brought it into the marriage, and then the man that she was actually married to found out. And I remember when she was crying because somebody filmed it, and she was saying, I never loved him. It's like what you just said now. She said, I never loved him. He said, but my father made me marry him due to belonging in some kind of fraternity with the guy's father.
Or some friendship, yeah.
Yeah, it was some occultic stuff whereby some brotherhood stuff. Your daughter was, you know, for some political gain or moving up in ranks and that type of thing anyway. So she then said the other guy that she was sort of having an affair with outside the confines of that marriage was the guy that she was already dating before she was forced to marry this new guy, right? And so when she got pregnant, she said, she told this dude that I've got to take it out because of, you know, consequences. But the other dude in the background was like, oh, let's show mommy that no, don't get rid of it. Don't get rid of the pregnancy, whatever happens. Then he promised her that he was going to try to get both of them a visa to elope from Nigeria and run off to the West. But unfortunately, the visa application, you know, didn't go through. So in the process of all the highs and lows, the truth came out of the can, and Yeah, and she said, you know, she basically, that was the lady's, that story was unique to that lady, which aligns with exactly what you've just. This thing is
Absolutely, it does happen. It
this
does
thing is
happen.
multifaceted. But then there are also women that go
That
off tangent. I mean, come on, man. How do
yes,
you
yeah,
explain, for example, a woman shagging a husband's younger brother? That's not
right.
societal pressure.
No,
That's
no,
you.
no. That is, it's got nothing to do with that. And that's where
That's
I'm
you.
going now.
That's you jumping on somebody else's banana for your self gratification.
Exactly. So having said what we've said, there are
Yeah,
so many unique stories like that. But
yeah,
let's just make it clear to those evil women, okay, that is not acceptable. Okay, there are
yeah.
women that will do it because it is okay to do it, because I want to pay him back for what he has done to me before, or because the marriage seems to be having his own troubles at the moment. It's not okay to do so. And there are some women that will say, oh, I don't love him anymore. Well, if you don't love him anymore, then get out of the marriage. Is it by force to stay in there? If you do not want that marriage, please get out of the marriage. Now, let's go back to this very story that you're using.
Yeah.
This lady eventually left the marriage. So why didn't she leave the marriage before having those 3 children? Why couldn't have she, carried her bag and left and go and have those babies for whoever she wants to have those babies for?
Exactly.
Because eventually you left, and then you left those children that are not his for him to look after. Who does that? That is just blatant evil. And then you
Yeah.
will say, oh, it's okay to. It's not okay to do that. It's not okay to do that, and it's just evil. I don't know how they sleep at night, but well, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
It's not okay to do that. But if I I want to stress that people say things like, oh, I can't leave this marriage. What will somebody say? Please, if you're not happy in a relationship, please
You
leave
can
that
get out.
relationship.
You can get out. Yeah.
Please leave that relationship and let that person find somebody that genuinely loves them and to make them happy, and you find yours as well. Why do you
Also,
have to say?
also, let me say something. You know what? In fairness, because I'm trying to be as balanced as possible. In fairness, there are also some people, particularly within our society, back home, that I'll be honest with you, when you are heavily under resourced, House of Coffee, like you haven't got money, you
Right.
haven't got anywhere to turn to. There are some
Yeah,
women, it's
yeah.
like once they are trapped within the 4 walls of that relationship, there's nowhere to turn
Mm-hmm.
to. Imagine if you have the pressure, the negative pressure from the so-called church, religious body you belong to, whereby
Mm-hmm.
the pastors are there to tear you apart like a hyena and say to you, whatever, there's nothing you can say, go back to the man. Yeah, you've got that.
Mm.
Even your own parents are back bashing you and say, go back and you must stay with your husband, blah, 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 blah. And you haven't even got money. You haven't got
Right.
money. You're broke, or you're probably earning the bare minimum. So where is the resource? Where is the support network for you to be able to make the transition from point A to point B? So,
Right.
which makes some women remain in that sunken place. Trust me,
Because it's
because maybe say,
convenient
oh,
for them.
they get
Yeah.
out of that relationship. Trust me, they can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are some who
Yeah.
can't.
And
They're actually prisoners.
okay, it just goes back to what we said before. Okay, before you get married, have proper conversations. Make sure that you have a financial goal for yourself. You have resources for yourself. You don't have any business getting married if you don't have a source of income. Who does that? You need to have a source of income. If it's not going right for you the way you thought it will be, then you carry your bag jejely and waka. It's not by force.
Yeah.
Always have a source of income, whether it's a man or a woman, something that you can eventually fall back on. If
You
things are
know
not
what?
going well for you,
House of Coffee, man. I
check
wish
out.
I could buy you your favorite drink tonight. I
Ah,
love Honestly, I love the fact that this fell out of the mouth of a woman. And I'll tell you this because check this out, because I know you're a reasonable person. You support my channel. Some women are blinded by emotion. If this came out of Frankleen's mouth, right? Some women, they are emotionally blind and they would think, oh, you are bashing them because they are women. They wouldn't think reasonably. I've always said this,
no. Get a
even
job, boo.
away from YouTube. This is why, so, and I think, again, it goes back to toxic culture, toxic engineering of female minds, whereby a lot of females, unfortunately, that's the way the world is wired, even beyond our African society, whereby they see the man as the meal ticket. A lot of women, they like, I'm sorry, but if what you bring to the table is just purely your sugar walls and the ability to procreate with a man,
Yeah.
all of those things will be reduced as soon as they're done. It's like you have no value, you have no financial
Nothing at all.
independence.
How is the man going to respect you? There's no respect in that. You need to have something valuable that you bring to the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I like what you're
Get
saying.
a job, get a business that you can do that brings you resources. Simple. Your in-laws will respect you that way. That man will respect you that way. Nobody will treat you like nonsense. And then if it's not working, you can get your bag and go.
Let me tell you, man. Let me just drop this for free, man. Let me tell you for free. I'm saying not you directly, but to the wider audience watching me. If you're a female watching this, let me tell you, man. For a woman, I don't care who you are, yeah? For a woman, if you have your own source of income, let's not even put it on a scale of, how much you're making per year. Let me tell you, if you call your own shots in your own lane, in your own corner, like you have that adult monetary independence whereby you are doing things, you can actually pay your own way. For me personally, as a man, I find it really sexy. Forget the looks, forget the visuals. I personally respect it in a woman. And I'm saying this without any filter as a man, because any reasonable man, even if the man wants to go off track and sort of misbehave, get a bit carried away and try to run you down, maybe the man is a bit blinded by misogyny and stuff, they would always retrace their steps and think twice before they mess with you.
Right.
Because you know what? A man, okay, check this out. A man that will threaten you with, listen, if you say X, Y, then I will fling you out of this house.
No, you can't do such nonsense. Why?
He knows that you're running a business. He knows that you got a healthy bank account. He would think twice. Oh, I think we've lost her. He would think twice before even making that statement, because he knows that statement is baseless. He knows you can actually take money to go and buy a whole house. So what's the point of me threatening you that I will fling you to the pavement? I've lost House of Coffee there. Black Magic, are you there?
Hello, brother. I'm here.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been listening to you actually for some time now, and I must say to you that your channel has been a blessing to all of us Africans. And I want to say thanks, a big thank you to you, Phrankleen.
Yeah.
This issue that's on ground right now have been on the spot before in this very same matter. I had this girlfriend of mine, which is my ex actually now. Actually, she was pressured to get married and become a wife, which I was not ready for. And she actually talked to me for some time, and I said, look, I'm not ready for this. Eventually, long story short, she decided to get married. And on the backside of it, she came to me and said, look, I don't love this guy. I love you for a very long time, and I want you to be the father of my baby. I want you to actually, you know what I'm talking about. Long story short, I decided against it, and I said, no, I don't want this. My conscience cannot allow. I actually wanted to fall into the trap, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. And I said, look, I can't. What about something can happen tomorrow? Just like what is happening now with the lawyer and the judge.
Yes.
Something can happen. You can't rule out anything in this life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I am not trying to throw the lady under the bus here. If you can, just like our last speaker, I don't know what was her name again.
House of Coffee.
Yeah, she said it happens because of love.
Yes.
Some ladies who get married, they don't love their husbands. So they just, they switch for emotional reasons, and they believe it can stay hidden for life and
Yeah.
go back to their lover and have a child, get pregnant, then stay in the marriage and think, everything is covered.
But there is also issue of promiscuity for some women. There's also, it's just purely, do you understand that? It's just purely a case of going off tangent, have a affair, having a fling with someone, get carried away. Just like, it's not gender specific in terms of promiscuity, as you know. But some women, they're just having a good time. Maybe it might be with a man right now, and just because there's a guy that takes a shine at them in their office or somewhere else within the society who's got a bit of money stuffed in their pocket with material benefits, and then they bust their legs wide open, and then boom, 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 and the guy say, hey, don't take out my baby. What's that man bring it? I will take care of you. The man starts smashing their pocket in the background. They will take that baby to the man they're married to. There are women that will do that.
Yeah, of course, I agree with you. But then again, you have to know, we're talking about women. You are a man, and I'm a man, and I know what it takes to be a man.
Yes.
As a woman, you know what it takes to get pregnant. When you are at that period, as at that time, you know, if I have sex between these next 7 days, bam, I'm pregnant. They know. See, there is this, when a woman wants to get pregnant, they know. They just know. So when they allow another man to have sex with them, as at that time, they get pregnant, and they are quite aware of this. That lady, that lawyer that it happened to, she was aware. It didn't happen by mistake.
3 children,
did it
of course.
purposely. By the time she was ready to be pregnant, she would go to the other guy and say, look, it's time. You understand what I'm saying? She never wanted that judge to be the father of her kids. It was done on purpose, calculatively. She didn't do it without not knowing what was going on. So this issue of it is actually true. It's about love and emotional, attachment to their exes. They go back to their exes because they've always loved the guy and they always wanted to be, attached to him for one reason or the other. So when the marriage doesn't work out, they always want that guy to be the father of their child. But thank God for DNA technology. I think all that is beginning to, go outside the window. Yeah, because it can't actually happen anymore, and they'll be getting away with it because I don't think it's something that they will just think that they can get away with anytime. And as for the guys, I want to speak to the men. You can't be sleeping with another man's wife and expect something like that not to happen. It will happen. It's time we have to use this thing can actually destroy homes, families. It's straight. Imagine the children. Imagine the children of that man, the trauma that they will have to go through because of what happened.
You know what, my bro? I love what you just said. Like, some men also guilty in the sense that they knowingly are sleeping without protection with another man's wife. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they know. They know this and they keep doing it. I think it's our time. It's this DNA test that will actually shed light into this issue, because it's actually something that has been concealed for a very long time, and it's becoming a norm. It's something that it's unacceptable. We have to come to a point where we have to say that this has to stop. The trauma that the things that he does to families, it destroys families, stigmatizes children. Imagine the children of that man, what they're going through in wherever they are. I just can't explain it, Phrankleen. I just wanted to chip in my voice into this because I was in the spot before and I said no. And I believe it's still happening out there.
Thank you, my brother. I salute you. I salute your courage, man. Thank you for doing that. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, man. Thank you. Black magic. Common sense sisters, what's up?
Hey, Phrankleen.
How are you?
Hey, everybody. Hey, Phrankleen. We're cooking and watching at the same time.
Have I said Happy New Year to you this year? It's a bit late now. Happy New Year anyway.
Happy New Year. Is there somebody else after us?
Yeah, of course there is.
Come, so that we'll just finish the cooking now.
Okay.
We'll wait behind. Thank you.
Okay. Brother Ben.
Hey, my brother.
How are you?
Very well. How about you?
I'm good, thanks. So what do you think about this topic?
You say this it is it's saddening when you hear things like this. But the truth is that I'm not here to judge nobody. I'm just going to say it the way it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
This stuff has been happening long time ago. It's just this science DNA that is bringing stuff out now. You see, I'm of a view that I don't believe if you as a lady, you don't love me, regardless of what your family tells you to do to marry me, I don't think it's a right thing to marry me and now take your body to another man to be having that baby and bring that baby to my house. You understand? I don't think it's a good idea. If you don't want to marry this man, I think a lot of ladies, they do it. They said, okay, because it's a pressure from the family. They go out, they do it, and they come back and tell their mama that, well, I'm pregnant for my boyfriend. You take it or you leave it. Why can't ladies do that? You understand? Why can't others do that? I'm not going to put everybody in the same box, but it is crazy when you do the first one, you do the second one, you do the third one. Come on now. That is ridiculous, you know? And we cannot keep deceiving ourselves that, it is a family pressure because I couldn't have a child in time or because I didn't love woman. You are killing somebody's spirit. And Phrankleen, let me tell you something. You see, every man, every family, they have DNA. They have ancestry. They have things that you inherit from family. You understand? You cannot bring a man that in his family, they get crazy, they sick, they kill the people. And you go there and get pregnant for that man and bring that child. What do you think that child will do? That child will come to this family and kill all that family. You start asking yourself that, where did this child come from? My family don't have these traces. So that is what the Yoruba, they will call Omali, to Waliwa Balije. You understand? So when you look at things, the destruction that this kind of behavior cause outside, we're saying is because of love. I want to give this child a good life. That's why I do it. But what about the destruction? You are destroying a lot of family. You are destroying society.
Yeah.
We should also look at all those things. Well, women should look at all those things because a woman is the owner, is the one that knows who the child father is. You cannot tell me that, some will say it's a mistake, but it cannot be a mistake for second, third. It is you intentionally did that.
Absolutely.
You intentionally did that, and now you are bringing a bastard, a child of a criminal. You are bringing it to a family of a well-respected family. So, my brother.
Well, I would disagree with that. Let's not call the child a criminal. Unfortunately, the woman, we can say the woman is a criminal because
No. Phrankleen, let me correct that. I'm not saying the child is a criminal. I'm talking about inheritance. That when you go to a family that is a criminal, you bring the energy of another family A to family B. You know, there is no how
what you're saying.
Things will happen. You will not say the child is innocent, but is bringing an energy from his own biological lineage.
Yeah.
You understand? That's what I'm saying. I'm not calling the child. I'm not faulting the child,
No,
but
I get
the
you now.
woman. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So it is. It's painful. I don't want to go because a lot of things that I would have said, the previous lady and the guy,
thank you, bro.
They've already said it.
Thank
so
you,
have a go. Thank you.
All right, man. All right. Thank you, brother. I'll bring you on in a moment. How's the coffee? Let me bring who is this? Mr. Babs Ola. Hello, sir.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. To be honest, I love your program so much. I've been watching your program.
Thank you.
Yeah. Concerning this issue on ground, I think we really appreciate this technology now, the DLA.
Right.
To be candid to you, the last lady that spoke about ladies that got married without having source of income, I think this is one of those things that really trigger all the kind of bastard in this society at large. Sometimes I can't imagine a lady going for marriage without source of income. I think it is highly archaic. It is archaic mentality.
Yeah.
That is why it's archaic mentality, not of this current trend. To be honest with you, Frank, let me not use myself. Let me use myself as a case study. I don't know if my girlfriend is watching. If my ex, I'm talking to somebody, please. If my ex girlfriend is hearing,
yeah,
I dated this lady for almost 10 years, and eventually she got married to another man that is wealthy.
I want, bro, can you hear me? Just make
Yeah,
sure, make sure you don't name her, and let's not use profanity. All right, go on, sir.
Okay. Now, do you know? 2 years after the wedding, then I think I was in the school. Then this lady, she's always all over me, inviting me to so many locations, so many hidden locations. And if I'm not a kind of person that is that has a fear of God, that can control myself, I will have get this girl pregnant,
right?
Having a baby in another man's house. Do you know? Even up to now, that man, this lady is still in that man's house, and the man does not know that he is having an affair with her ex. Why? Because she does not love that man. She loves me. And the day we spoke, that we spoke together, I told her that, come on, for I know that you love me, but you are with another man. That you are with another man. You can just easily imagine things of these. How can somebody go married to somebody that she doesn't like? And I know the reason, because the pressure is from her mom. Her mom wants her to get married to a wealthy person. Why I wasn't in school then, and thank God for today. To the glory of God, I'm okay now. Are you getting me now?
Yeah.
I'm okay now. I'm in UK now. What happened to me? It happened to me when I was in Nigeria. Are you getting me? When I was in Nigeria, I'm fantastic. I'm fantastically okay now. And even for the fact that I'm in UK, she's still all over me. There was a day she told me that she want to come over to UK and stay with me, to spend time with me. So you now see the avenue where we have bastard in families, where we have bastard. So to my own contribution,
no swearing. They're gonna flag me. But carry on talking, man.
Okay. But my advice is, I think I wanted to use your platform to start sensitizing people, the young ladies, the men, now, that we shouldn't involve in any marriage, in any marriage that we think that there's no love or under pressure.
Yeah,
under
I mean
pressure.
that's what House of I don't know why I'm laughing. That's what House of Coffee said earlier. You know, I get what you're saying. There's societal pressure, and yeah, if you had, for example, if you had allowed the lady, you probably would have gotten her pregnant, and she would have kept taking it to.
That's a fact. Even when I was a bachelor, the day she got that I want to get married, she was so crazy. She was even crying. In fact, she was even crying, and she's another man's house.
So,
just imagine that.
If you don't mind me asking, so why did she marry the other man then?
I think, due to if I could remember vividly, in those days, our mother was facing some kind of financial challenges then, and she happened to be the first child. I get me. She happened to be the first child, and they were lacking in some of financial something. And to the glory of God, for her marry that man, she elevated her family, and that's the truth. All our younger ones, Phrankleen, are you with me?
Well, if I can say something, but you have you have a blame in this too, because you could have cut her off permanently, but you still kept a contact. You were having conversation with her.
Yeah, you know social media, because the last time I caught up with her, it was when I got married, and when I traveled down, she hooked me up through my friend and on Facebook. I get him.
So
on Facebook.
You link up with her.
Yeah, I link up with her through Facebook. But I think, thank God that what she did. I told her that what she did, at least for now, all our younger ones are not in Nigeria. Some are in US, some are in the UK, and she too, she's doing fine. But there's no love.
Right.
There's no love. So I will appeal to our parents that they shouldn't force their kid or their daughter to get married out of love. Out of love.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Phrankleen. I so much love your program. It's so it's so logical, not emotional. I love your program. You always say the facts. Keep on what you are doing. I so much love you, guy.
Thank you. House of Coffee.
Uncle has to emphasize that now I am in UK. We thank God for you, Uncle. Hey, anyways, one thing that I wanted to mention before my village people cut me off is that let's not forget those men, Phrankleen, that knows that they have infertility issue, right? Because there are men that knows that the doctor have told them you have low sperm count and you are not able to make children, and they will find the most beautiful girl in the world, right? You know, fine babe that is very clean. They will marry them knowing that I cannot give you a child, though. They won't say anything to this young woman.
Not just that, knowing that they can't even put the work in.
Thank you. They cannot go down very well, get to clean Jerusalem very well. And you will still deceive this girl, and you still marry her, do the most glamorous wedding in the old town, right? Knowing fully well that you cannot give her one thing that she wants, which is children. And by the time your family starts pressurizing her that, oh, when are we going to have a child? You will not go back to your mother to tell her that, look, mommy, I am the one that have problem. You will let the whole world be blaming her. And then when she now goes out there to cover your shame, Uncle, you are not among the people that we are talking about today. Don't call me, I'll be doing paternity, whatever. My wife fraud me. Uncle, you are the one that started the fraud. So fraud meet fraud, Neo. Don't come here and be saying nonsense, because you initially were being fraudulent too by deceiving somebody's daughter into marrying you, knowing fully well that you are not incapable of making children. So talking about breaking tables, we can blame women very well. Women are guilty, they are evil, but equally, some men can be evil too. So uncle,
Right.
if you know you cannot get down.
Right. But I think on that note, it's safe to say that this issue is multifaceted.
Absolutely. It cuts across.
So it cuts across, it's multifaceted. I like what you said earlier before I lost the connection then, where you talked about societal pressure. Some of them come from home, religiosity and all that stuff. And this one, these are the angle, some men are equally responsible for it.
They have, and they can't charge paternity laws or whatever.
So if you basically lead a woman on and you conceal your medical history, knowing fully well that your genitalia is partly dead, can't deliver the goods, and then you bring that lady on board, because it's true though. Unfortunately, in our society, they've made the issue of discussing sexual related topics a taboo, which in fact is a major source of a lot of problems.
What are we going to be doing in the marriage?
No, I'm telling you, a lot of these sexual complexities or inability to perform or having low sperm count and things like that, they are usually enveloped heavily, deeply enveloped in religiosity. So, for example, if the man's banana insists on being floppy and looking downwards, and it will quickly run to his pastor and get the pastor to shut you up. So they will come up with these customized, fraudulent scriptural references to try to use to emotionally subject the woman to say, you can't be doing that to your husband, you must be there and not say anything. So what happens? She's then forced to accept sexual frustrations. So you're expecting your man to be able to pound you to dust. He can't even go past the opening of the clitoris, forgive me. And then it's okay. The Bible says, for the just shall blah blah.
Live by faith and submit. So, madam, submit. What are you submitting to? You can't get down to the Jerusalem. What is the point of the marriage, honestly? And the truth is, even I know that some guys do not even know that they have these medical conditions. Now, when your wife is saying to you, Oga, let's go to the doctor, let's go for this hospital appointment, he will be the first one to say, no. My God, Lebo, my God will do it. What are you laboing? Uncle, go and sort yourself out. So if that woman therefore steps outside, we cannot blame her, frankly, for any paternity fraud. We can't. Because is she not going to live her life? Honestly, is she not going to live her life?
I agree 100%. That's why I have to say this, because what we are trying to do here, from the A to Z of this conversation, we've got to be honest, right? This is another phase, and there are several people on this table. Let's call a spade a spade. Okay, that's why I know this is how I see it. We're humans, yeah? It might be because of age, it might be because of health reasons, it might be because of stress. And you can't fire. For a man, you cannot fire as much as you were firing when you were 18 or 19 or 25. Maybe you're in your 40s now, maybe in your late. It might be because of your lifestyle. You got too much sugar in your body, you've gained weight.
Exactly.
It might be stress, just generally work life and things. So if you are at least open and honest, and you're on the same page with a good woman, and then we work together, and it's okay, you find a remedy. Okay, maybe you have to lose weight, maybe you have to change your diet, maybe you have to then do this. Then of course you might be able to then find a common ground to then be able to break madam's back as regularly as possible. But I'm not even joking, whereby men, in our society, where they have somebody, in fact, it's interesting. Somebody was telling me this a few days ago. If you look at our society, there's a trend where a lot of us men are reliant on all these third-party drinks that are not even medically tested or regulated.
Exactly. You don't know how many doses you're supposed to be taking.
All of these, and I'm talking about these alcoholic drinks, Ogidiga, Lion King, this one, Gear 5, Gear 1,
Kalagbo,
and all of those things, right? Whilst some of them might more than likely stimulate you, of course, temporarily. In, say, you drink it now, it might kick in. Herbal drinks, they have their benefits, no doubt. But the truth is, if you have underlying problems, it's not going to take it away. It's not going to, because a guy was actually saying to me jokingly that there are some men, if a woman was meant to bust into their room now, they're going to be in absolute shambles, because if they don't have colac that they can quickly guzzle down in the bathroom, you already know that the floppy performance is definitely going to show up tonight.
Oh, goodness.
So that means there are underlying health problems. You know, you might be diabetic and you've not even bothered to go check anything. You might, you might have all of these things. They're there. That, you know, it might just be that you've managed to acquire a bit of excess fat in front of a belly that's covering a chunk of your genitalia, and you can't even see it except you're facing the mirror. So you need to lose weight, get on a bike, do something. So you want to guzzle down 5 liters of Kalagbo or Alamo Bitters, all because you want to have a 10 minutes, you know, session. And then even with the frustration and all these things, and one of the worst things that can happen to a man, if you can, for whatever reasons, the engine is not starting, and then you take the heat, and then you start there, and women see us finish. A woman see it.
They will give it to you.
You're there. I'm not in the mood tonight. You know what? Just leave it. I think it's the way you grab. It's a lie. You know it's a lie. The stuff is not. The woman knows, and the woman will just pull back into her. And then, okay, it might just be a one-off, or it happened a couple of occasions. But if it then becomes a pattern where there is sexual frustration, and then some other external geezer is able
to postman
breaking session, you know, and then there goes the story. Again, we're not trying to justify this, because I'm against all fertility frauds, but then we have to talk about this.
So every side to it.
Whilst this is a multifaceted story, in some of the facets of this story, men are equally responsible for paternity.
Absolutely. Now, having said that, to conclude, Phrankleen, if you're in that situation as a woman, please don't cover up for anybody. Carry your bag, please, and go and find somebody that will give you that child. Do not stay in that marriage and be saying, oh, I want to help him cover. You are not responsible to cover anything for anybody. They've been deceitful. Go outside, go and marry somebody else and have children for that person. Because in everything, we need to think about these children, how they are going to feel in the future. They are human beings, for God's sake. They are not dogs. Okay, we can't continue to treat them that way. They are human beings. They are going to grow up one day and realize that this father is not our father. He wasn't able to father a child. So please carry your bag.
Do you know? Thank you for saying that. Do you know some of these things, right? Because we are wired differently. The fact that somebody is an adult means nothing. Some children, they've already grown in their 20s, and then suddenly out of the blues, they discover that this man is not my real father. My mother had lied. And some of them, because of that, they just emotionally, they become broken.
And for life.
On track and living a normal life, they just go off the rails, and they start breaking the law, misbehaving, and even they might, because of that, even terminate their relationship with their, with their own mom.
Yes. So please carry your bag and go. That's the point. Carry your bag and go. Don't cover anything for anybody. Thank you very much, Phrankleen.
Thank you, House of Coffee. Thank you. That's awesome. Right. Let's see. Mr. Kolawole Michael. Hello.
Hello, Phrankleen.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, definitely. How are you doing? Yeah.
I'm all right, brother. So, what do you think?
Well, I think you guys say all along, I've got no new particular idea, but I think like you guys have been saying for the entire gathering, everything comes with our people back home and our culture. And I've been listening to your channel for the past 6 months now, and and whatever you saying, it's all about our culture and the failure that we have inside our culture. And then I think that's a good issue to address. And I really want to thank you for that opportunity to let us discuss about the failure inside us. That's the only way we can do to grow up. And very well, thank you for everything you're doing. But in this particular occasion, I'm not gonna say anything new because everything has been said. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Deadbeat cousin, let me add you now. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm all right, thanks.
All right. I want to congratulate you for on the show. I'm calling you from New Jersey, but I'm a Liberian. I grew up in Liberia and whatnot. Having said that, I've been listening to the show, and you guys made a lot of great points towards how men are responsible for their wives going out there and following or getting pregnant and then bringing in child outside the marriage. From my personal experience, however, I would suggest that every guy, as long as you are aware that you're capable of having a child, if your girlfriend, wife, or significant other happens to be pregnant and give birth, I suggest that you do a DNA test at the hospital before signing any birth certificate. From my personal experience, I was in a situation where I had a person I had a fling with basically. And the whole time she was also into other things with other people out there. And because I'm a man of means, I can provide for myself. She got pregnant and convinced me somehow that this baby was mine. You understand? And then, being the dude I am, I was like, okay, cool, shit. We about to have a child, and we're going to take care of this child. All right? The day the child came to this world, for whatever reason, I just decided to do a DNA test. It came back negative. You understand?
Wow.
I was frustrated about the whole thing, very sad about it, and I basically told her we were friends before everything that happened. If you know deep within yourself the child wasn't mine, you should have just been straight up with me. I still was going to help you financially because like I said, we were friends before everything that happened, you know. So long story short, we went our ways, and this lady went for government assistant, had the audacity to put my name on government assistant document, claiming I'm the father of the child in order for this child to get financial assistance from the government, right? As we speak right now, I have a counter lawsuit. I'm just waiting for the pandemic to go down in the United States. So when the court system opens, that way I can file the document with the court. So, you know, some women, they know exactly what they're doing. That's what I'm trying to say. Some women out here, they just try.
So she's basically knowingly imposing this child on you, as if you're the child's father.
Yeah, after we did a DNA test, and she has copy of the result. It's negative and all that. But like I said, I'm a young dude, and unlike most of my peers, I'm a very focused person. I graduate college right now. I run e-commerce businesses. So I'm saying I'm a person of means, you know. And she figured out who the best person to take care of this child financially other than me. So, you know, I believe that was the reason why she had my name on the document, because in America, before the government gives you like government assistance for a child, they need somebody to put on child support basically before they can get a child assistance, because it's just money game. That's it. The government needs the money regardless. You know, last couple of years ago, I read an article where the government made about $8 billion a year on the percentage they call up on child support, meaning every time a man pays for a child, the government takes percentage of it, and whatever left over, that's why they send to the mom. So it's a business for them. You need somebody to put on that. And since I didn't sign any birth certificate, that was the right thing I did. When the result came back, it came out negative, so I didn't sign a birth certificate. That's what made it very difficult for me to put me on child support. So now they need me to go to court again, so apparently do a whole different DNA in the court to prove. So yeah, I'm basically just waiting. So some of these women know exactly what they be doing. That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. Wow, that's
You
crazy.
got it, man. I'm gonna keep watching the show. I just wanna, tell you thank you for doing the job. I learned a lot from you watching your show recently. So thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, man. Wow. Wow. Imagine somebody, God damn, just hijacking your personal details to run misrepresentation frauds so that they can get state benefit. Come on, man. Come on. That's cold-blooded, man. That's cold. Man. You know what, man? Whew. Nenye, hello. Can you hear me?
Hi, Phrankleen. Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing?
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'll just wrap it up. So, I think your first question really was, why do women engage in paternity fraud? And with all this noise going on about DNA back home, I'm from Nigeria, by the way. I
Right.
I think it's obvious. Women do because they can. Biologically, they can. It's something that a man cannot do. Biologically, you can't pass off another child as that of your wife, right? So I think the major question really is, why do we step out in the first place? Why do we cheat? And it's for the same reason that men cheat as well. So it only seems as though men are having the wrong end of the stick because of our biological makeup. But the major issue is, why are we stepping out in the first place? And on that front, men and women have the same burden, have the same issue. Coming from where we are coming from, by that I mean, back in time, even
Yeah.
up until now, some men always believe as though, I mean, the misdemeanor of cheating is not as weighty for men as it is for women. And that is how, men and women have been conditioned to think, from back in the days up until now. But now it's changing. Now women are becoming more outgoing, more aware of the things they can and cannot do. And when they step out and get such souvenir, they could just decide, oh, I'm in a marriage, really, who would know?
Yeah.
Who would know? So when I think of it that way, I see reason why men want to do a paternity test. It's hurtful, especially for someone who isn't stepping out. At the end of the day, if you ever demand for a paternity test, what you're just saying is you have a problem with the trust. There is no sugarcoating it. Really, that is what it is. Simple. But okay, from my perspective, should I say no? I don't think so. But there is no gainsaying the fact that there will be a sour aftertaste after such. But with the revelations coming up that are just too numerous, yeah, I think I would see reason with any man who thinks it's necessary to conduct a DNA test.
If a man
Yeah.
asks you, let me ask you this. If a man asks you for a DNA test, of course, like you rightly said, and I appreciate that, it would sort of leave a bad taste in your mouth. Let's say, you're 100% confident that you've not gone off tangent, you've not done anything sinister. Fine. And it came back all clear, it's the man's children and all that stuff. Are you able to get past the fact that that man has then asked you for a DNA test, or would you? Because the problem is, because I've had emails from like some brothers, yeah, they have it on their heart, on their mind, they want to do it, but they are afraid that if I say to my missus, let's go do paternity test, and then it comes back that, okay, the two children we've got are all, my children, they may not be able to get past the fact that the man has asked them for paternity test. Because some women are likely going to latch onto that and then carry on beating it against the man's head. Oh, you don't trust me. You think I'm a slag, or I've been sleeping around and all that. jazz. But or would you be able to say, okay, are we good? And able to put that behind you and forge on as a couple? What do you think?
I think it's something that time would heal. Yeah, but I would not. I can't even beat around the bush on that. It will leave a sour taste in my mouth. But like every other thing, I think it's not going to be enough for me to just throw in the towel or bring it up every single time. But I know that what it means is you think that, just to forestall the possibility that I've been sleeping around. And that's why to me the major issue is the sleeping around, not really the pregnancy, because the pregnancy can't happen if you don't break that trust. And so from my perspective, I'm asking, okay, so just because I can get pregnant and you can see the fruits of perhaps such will I say philandering, so how,
Yeah.
how do I check you? How do I check you as the man?
Hmm.
How do I check you? What do I do? Is it anytime you step in through the door, I ask for an STD test? What do I do? How do I check you?
Hmm. That's a good point. That's a
So
good
I'm,
point.
go- I'm going to go past it at the end of the day, but it still brings when you're in the situation whereby you see the sense, you see reason why this guy could want to have. After all, we're defined by our experiences. You see why this guy wants to cover his bases, but at the end of the day, it
Yeah.
doesn't still remove the fact that you feel there's distrust. You feel like you have been put on the front, under the spotlight, and worse off, you feel you can't hit back. It's almost like it's unfair, but
Yeah.
that is what it is.
Thank you. I really, really like your thought process. That's another way of looking at it. I really like it. I'll say something before you go. There was a lady that emailed me, yeah, because she works
Yeah.
here in the UK as a nurse. So anytime her husband goes on holiday to Nigeria, goes on holiday to Nigeria, and he comes back to the UK, she'll ask him to go do go do.
Yeah. but
So
but even
I
that,
mean,
even
even she admitted that it's not what's it called now, that to be fair she's never caught him doing anything philandering or maybe having an affair or something like that, but
Mhm.
it's her, and then the nature of her job, because they get tested a lot. And then she said the first time she said it to her husband, he just stood there like a pillar staring at
Of
her
sorts.
like, what did you just say? She said he went quiet. He didn't, she said she actually thought it was going to flare up. And then
Mm.
he stormed into the bedroom and then he came back and said, okay, book the appointment, we go. So she said she did it twice, but then because of guilt of
Yeah.
not self-sabotaging her marriage, and she stopped it. But she said up till date, she later pleaded and to try to let him know why. But she said till date, she still feels that even though her husband doesn't talk about it, she senses
Mhm.
that thing that she did twice is deeply internalized. So it's almost like you are having a feeling that somewhere down the line that marriage might
Yeah.
crack. Do you see?
Yeah. Because the seeds have been sown, and you never can tell what will germinate.
Yeah.
It really is what it is. I mean, that
And
action.
and and, and there are also men, I'm a dude, I'll say it, that would throw tantrums. Let's be balanced. I know this. I would say, wow, really? And then
Mhm.
you feel like, ah, maybe I shouldn't have. And it's just reverse psychology.
Agreed. So when you have the guts to actually just say what you want to say, oh, I need a DNA test, I need an STD test. It's
Yeah.
fine. You can say it. You are well within your right to make your demand, but you can't control how the other person receives it. it just screams distrust really, but you can't control how the other person receives it, and whatever you get, you take. Whatever you see, you take it like that, really.
Thank you. I
But I'll just
appreciate it.
encourage people to be mature enough to move past it.
Fantastic. I love that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good weekend. Thank you. Common sense sisters. Let's hear what you've got to say. I hope the moi is not burnt.
We need this moi to just matter. The moi can never be burnt. Can never. If you are on this forum right now, you are forgotten to click the like button. Go and like it for common sense momentarily. Right now, right now. Franklin will enter this ministry with a song. Bang, 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 oh. Bang, 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 bang. Now they yakata for mommy's house. The Nigerians to the house, you know where this song is leading to. We did not know that this was a reality in our country. We only thought it's only abroad people that used to do it. Based on, say, we watch paternity courts, right? And I think they need to have paternity courts in Nigeria. Yeah. So some people have been saying, it's true, only a woman will know the paternity of a child. But there are some women said that might not even know. In this case, this woman has the 3 children. None of them belong to this judge.
Yeah.
These 3 children now have 3 different fathers. And the woman might not even know.
Also, another thing is, I know that everybody's talking about this DNA thing. This is my own common sense doing. So me, I like...
No, go on.
I like medical tests. And we are going for tests before the marriage. With the relationship is ascending to the marriage. Before the wedding.
Why pregnant?
In short, in the pregnancy, if you say you want to do DNA test, I'm ready.
Do it.
Health history is very, very vital to me.
Very, very
Growing important. Up, my mother taught us it's very, very important for a child
know your
to
genotype,
know their genotype, their DNA, everything, their blood group. It helps that you understand that from a point of education. Even if you are going into a relationship in the future, at least you know all these things, right? So when I'm dating or whatever I'm marrying or whatever it is, even if in the marriage, my own opinion is, if
as the child is coming out of the
this thing, the DNA,
the genotype, the blood, you are even going to test to make sure that I'm the mother. In case somebody in the hospital is doing baby swap.
Yes.
We don't want no games.
3 people have the right. If it's one child you have, if it's multiple children, the man has the right to know. The children has the right to know. The children have the right to know.
It has not to do with the
That's how we are raised. And for me, I think that's common sense. So whether people are philandering or not philandering, me, I don't think, personally, I don't think I'm going to feel bad if my man says, oh, we're going to do a DNA test. Oh, yeah, medical test. I like medical tests, though.
And you, at least, you even, unless if you are not clean, then it will be paining you.
Exactly.
And also, it depends. I always say it depends on how the conversation is presented to you.
Yes.
Very true.
It's one thing to ask for a DNA test. It's another thing for it to be presented to you as if
it's an interrogation, or you're accusing the person of something.
As if you're being accused. But then, like the last caller said, you know what? Even if you're very subtle, as gentle as a dove, the fact is you're going to ask anyway. And let's call it spade a spade. Most women will go into the defensive mode. You can see, they're about to turn to a 3-headed dragon. Like, how dare you? You said what? So you're suggesting that. It happens. Even the guilty ones will get dramatic and stuff like that. But I think because of the impact, because of, like, look at this story, man. You can imagine the life impact you may not even recover from. I agree that people should do it.
Yeah, let me tell you, there's also something I heard that happened in the UK on the TV channel some time ago, that this guy was, after 30 years, he found out that the son wasn't his kid anymore. They did the DNA test and he found out the man was crying on live TV.
30 years. That's a long time.
This man goes back and forth to Nigeria. He said that, he relocated to the UK and, make things right for everybody to come.
Sorry to cut you. Somebody's saying, why can't, where is that comment? Why can't, somebody said, why can't men do the paternity test? Some men, it's possible for you to do it. Some men are doing it. Facts only. Some men wouldn't even confront the woman because they know what the reaction will be. So they can do it discreetly. So if you do it, at least one thing that I know is if you go do it discreetly, and then the result comes, and then it says the three children are your children, shred the paper,
burn it
in the bin, jelly.
Burn it and flush it too, because some people
and get on with the rest of your life happily with your woman and your children. If they do the check and it comes back as negative, go home like a three-headed dragon.
And fight that back. But I still feel, I don't know how people communicate in their relationship. Me, medical test is important. Very vital. In the relationship, we're talking about it. Whether you say you are afraid to go and check, that's a deal breaker. You are going to do it. Even you are going. That, for me, that's a deal breaker. There's no point being a. It's health stuff we're talking about.
Nothing about you love, you do. No, life is important.
Yes,
and nothing about my rights to my feelings. When they say, "Oh, so woman be offended," why? What does your offense have to do with your child's right to know who their father is?
You know, and have it documented, and for them to know. It's just common sense. This is medical thing. Right? I don't know. Maybe people may say, okay, I'm not. Maybe my own faculty of thinking is different.
It's different.
You know, say you feel bad. Why are you feeling bad?
After your feelings have been hurt, then what? At least the child will know who their father is.
Somebody said, what happens if the woman is smashing the man's brother or dad? How will the DNA test come out? Your DNA is unique to you. Your brother's DNA is different. Look, these are common sense sisters. They've got separate DNAs.
Yeah.
Yes, you can look through their bloodline, their DNA that they're related. They are two different sisters. You can't.
Even our tongue prints
child
are also different.
It's impossible. So if your younger brother has been, without knowledge of consent, gaining unlawful access into your woman's sugar water, you will find out if you do DNA test. That's if she tells you that your younger brother is in fact the father, but of course it's very easy.
It's always show. It's always show.
Yeah, I think all these things should just be out there. Just as
I know Gans Wood is just pulling my legs, man. He knows the truth, man. He's just pulling my legs.
I think it should be out there and let everybody deserves to know.
Especially that
family. They deserve to know. That's just common sense.
We have a question from Bali.
I have a question.
Because I remember when she was saying that in the Zulu culture, the wife after 6 months may be pressured sometimes to be cuckolded with the brother. So what if the family doesn't have a brother? Will it be the uncle or the father or the next male in line?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's crazy. I mean, let's just put it that it's toxic culture. Okay. Just imagine where they knowingly just and like what she said earlier. So if I'm the man and if they believe I'm not forthcoming, without my consent, that's why I asked her, they'll just go behind you and get another man too. And the woman must conceal that. That's crazy, man. But she said, I'm hoping that some of those cultures would have changed by now because it's shocking. That's deliberate. Putting efforts into creating a web of complexity in the wider society. It makes no sense.
Crazy. Well, crazy.
That's our own contribution. I mean, that's my own contribution.
Thank you, my sisters. Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a nice weekend. Thank you. Right, Mr. Kolawole. Okay, you already spoke. Mr. Kazim.
Yeah, Frank. Good evening.
What's going on, brother? What do you think?
Yeah. I'm doing fine. I'm calling from Cote d'Ivoire.
All right, great stuff. Yeah. Nice to have you. So what do you think about the topic, bro?
Yeah, basically, something happened this week that probably could have led to what we are discussing right now.
Wow, talk to me.
Yeah, I dated a girl 19, 20 years ago while I was in the University of Lagos undergrad. Then fast forward to 17 years ago, 16 years ago, we parted ways.
Right.
The reason for parting ways was that at that point, I had the bar set for myself as what I had to achieve before getting married.
Okay.
Which would probably take me an average of 10 years before I could achieve those, boxes. If I could tick those boxes, maybe an average of 10 years. But she wanted to get married maybe 2 years after that time. So I said, no, it won't work. So we parted ways.
Right.
Then she was a very good girl. Very, very good girl. So when we parted ways, we lost contact. 12 years ago, I got job in multinational organization. I traveled out of Nigeria.
Okay.
So we lost contact totally. Just this week, around Tuesday or thereabout, then Facebook suggested her to me as a friend.
Oh,
then
look at Facebook. I added gods of Facebook.
Yeah, then I added her with good intention. I'm married, I have 2 kids, I have a good wife, and I'm okay with my wife. So when I added her, I just wanted to know how she was doing, because she was good in those days. We parted ways, not in a very bad taste, but in a good taste, with mutual.
You were curious to know how she's doing.
How she was doing, yeah, because at that time we started a relationship more or less like a family friend, kind of. So at that time, so she wasn't a bad person to me. So when I added her and we got talking, the following day she accepted me. Then we got talking. Then we got talking the following day, just to know how she has been doing for the past 16 years that we parted ways. And the bombshell.
Why? Yeah? Why do you want to know, though, bro? Why?
Hey, yeah, the reason is that when I was in University of Lagos in those days, she was good to me. I didn't come from a good background financially. I was the first child in the family of 5 boys.
Yeah, I get that. I know. I get. You said that earlier. But what I'm saying is, I know Facebook suggested her to you. Why? Why do you want to have a peek into the life of your ex? Why?
Yeah, the peak is that she wasn't just ordinary ex. In those days, yes, I remember in those days, financially, when I'm down, she raises me.
Okay.
So that alone triggered us out. If in the future I have opportunity to help her, I'm going to do that without anything attached. Okay. So I got asking question about, okay, what's really happening in the last 16 years? Then what happened was a bombshell. Then she told me, in fact, if I can just paraphrase in a single line what happened, you will see what I'm talking about.
Whoa, what did she say? Bombshell. What did she say? Tell us.
Yeah. So she said in our conversation, when we talk about, okay, she was talking about her husband. She said, we did our wedding in 2011. A month after the wedding, I decided to run a test called semen analysis. I did the test because I noticed the sperm was watery, and the result was azoospermia. I don't know what that means. So she said, which means no sperm cell at all. So the short story is that from that 2011 that they got married, she stayed in that marriage until 2019.
Oh, so she's single now.
She stayed married. That marriage 2019 from religious perspective of miracle.
I know, but that woman is single now.
Yes,
bro. Avoid her.
No. I'm okay with my wife. I have a good wife. I have a very happy family.
Bro,
you understand?
Bro, I have a good wife too. Avoid her. She's single now.
Bro, my intentions are clean. No, what I'm driving at is your usual slogan about religiosity.
Yes.
My problem with her was that if biology says that this person can never produce a child, why do you stay in marriage for 8 good years? There's no sentiment about it. Miracles are only staged oftentimes. They don't happen. The biology has said this guy has no sperm wall cell or whatever she called it, meaning that it cannot, under any circumstance, impregnate a woman. Why are you waiting for a miracle? Then now assume, let's say this lady happens to be the type who could have found a way out while in the marriage.
You are my brother, right? I get what you're saying, and you've made very good points. But I'll tell you one thing, from a brother to another brother, no one lie. You see, there's a bit of a history there, and you made a point that I picked. You said back then when you struggled, she was good to you and all that.
Yeah.
That is you've got these files in your mental archives that's attached to some hidden type of layers of affection for this person. Even though we can say that, oh, the file is dead, it's in the memory archives, you are now a family man. Bro, if you put yourself in a compromising position, you would go down the drain with that woman. I'm saying
I would never put myself. You have a valid point, but I would never put myself in that situation. I would never.
You might meet someday when you travel.
I would never ever put myself in that situation. No, the point I'm even making here, you have a valid point actually, is that if assume that she happens to be the type who is not faithful, can we blame her in the future if she has gone out of that marriage to have fun with other men just to have children?
That's what we're saying about religiosity and how the society forces, these women to remain in those type of relationships. So like what she told you now with the medical problem, I don't know, I'm not a medical practitioner. I don't know, maybe medically that man could have gotten some kind of help, or maybe it was a problem that can't be fixed. I don't have a clue. So like you rightly said, why remain in that relationship? I would never understand.
For 8 years.
And
the medical analysis was that it's not fixable. Yeah.
Oh, so if it's not
fixable, it's not fixable. No sperm cell, according to that medical analysis. It was very plain. They were only hanging on miracle.
So that means there is a possibility. I mean, I'm just saying possibility. That woman would have had affairs in that time, more than likely. So, and then when you see, I'm telling you this, I'm going back to that point so that we can wrap up now.
Okay.
For her to be able to tell you, give you this very sensitive data, regardless of what's happened.
Yeah.
If that woman catches you.
No, she can never catch me. She can never catch me. You understand?
I believe you, man. Anyway, thank you, my brother, man. I appreciate
so the bottom line is that why do women put themselves in such situation that could end up leading to a compromised circumstance in the future? 1 month you discover this, maximum, don't wait for miracle more than 1 year. Worst case scenario, because it's proven biologically that this person cannot produce. What are we talking about? So that is my point, that situations like this could have led to what we are discussing tonight.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're right. You're right.
House of Coffee, I ran already.
Thank you, my brother, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. It's been a wonderful it's been a wonderful session, man. That's a lovely brother to have spoken to. And to wrap up the show, thank you very, very much. Y'all be careful out there. And I thank you for everyone who has contributed. I enjoyed myself, and I'm sure everyone's picked, 1 or 2 things. Be careful, man. You see, those sugar walls from the past yesteryears, man, fam, if you find yourself in an enclosure with that lady, she's gonna smash you, man. Alaye, she gonna smash you. And I'm not trying to say it's all on that lady. Something is going to bring a spark. How do you deal with that temptation? Abstinence. If you get there, your buckle will undo itself mysteriously. The genitalia is going to experience an expedited bloodshot, and the rest is history. It's your boy Phrankleen. Thank you for an awesome session, and I will definitely catch you in the very next one, man. Have a fantastic weekend. Send me your stories to foodchannel1960@gmail.com, and I will catch you in the very next one. Peace and love, man. Bye-bye.